my $6,661.80 Alienware computer has finally arrived, so today we're going to unbox it and hopefully get to turn it on, and I'll show you all the things in there, and you know, we can sort of laugh at me for buying such an overpowered computer. Anyway, let's get to it.
There's a box inside a box.
Alright, so there's a box inside the bigger box, and it's got all this crazy computery looking stuff. Alienware logo, which is kind of shiny. And there was some writing over on this side. Oh, NVMe, AlienFX RGB, DDR4 RAM, USB something, USB-C. A little bit more stuff on the other side with the Alienware logo. And then I think the last side is just that. So, Dell stuff. Okay, so we've got an Alienware quick start guide. All that usual kind of stuff. Warranty information, safety and regulatory information, and that's my operating system, backup, DVD, whatever. Here we've got a power cable and a mouse, and this would be the free keyboard. Ta-da! Upside down. Okay, so the keyboard has slightly less of the fancy functions that my old keyboard had, but the one thing I'm really happy with is it actually has these 3 keys set up normally instead of the space-saving design, which means when I'm playing Free Space 2 and I want to do control my energy levels in the different areas, at least I know which ones are which now! As for the features that are missing on the new keyboard, so on my old keyboard I had these buttons which were for the internet, email, my computer, and calculator, but I actually didn't know that these were there or what they did until like 2 or 3 days ago. So like in the past 8 years, fat lot of good these have been. I've never needed them. And then over here we've got you know, like music controls, which I have never used either. So yeah, who needs this shit? The new keyboard does have like mute and volume kind of buttons though, so you know, there's still a bit there. And then I don't know how you get this stuff to work in the blue, but I will figure that out. Yeah, I just don't need like a special button just for the calculator, if you know what I mean.
Woo!
Just in case you didn't realize you should remove these plastic things. Okay, here it is. So let's do a quick tour around the case. So on the front, we've got the Alienware little light thing here. And then we've got a bunch of USB slots, and I think that's USB-C maybe. And then headphones and microphone. Got our fancy Intel Core i9 sticker. Oh, I can see a fan in there. I don't think I've ever been able to see a fan quite so clearly on a computer before. Oh yeah, that's my Blu-ray drive. On the top we've got a fancy little handle. I don't know if I'd really want to be using just the handle. I've never, like, I just don't carry computers like that, but yeah, hopefully it's strong enough. I kind of don't want to test it though. Now on this side of the computer we've got the 3 fancy LED lights that I absolutely do not need, but they're kind of cute. And on this side we've got more fancy LED lights, but also I guess this is for cooling or something. And then here's the back, so let's go through all the things that it has. Okay, so here we've got the power plug, and then I'm not entirely sure what this button does, but presumably related to the power. And here's the little thing saying Aurora R8, which is the model of computer I've got. We've got a SPDIF thing, I think that's Ethernet, a bunch of USBs, display port, some more USBs, and that might be USB-C. I'm not really familiar with USB-C yet, and I think the ones in the circle, there's something special about them. Maybe they give power, or maybe they're like a faster one. I have no idea, I don't really know for sure. And then we've got all our audio stuff, yay! And then down here we've got more like DisplayPort, HDMI, USB-C stuff, and I think that's all to do with the graphics card. And then we've got these 2 lock-unlock kind of things. I'm not entirely sure what they do, but I will find out. It's probably to do with some components in there and maybe pulling them out, because this is one of those ones that are supposed to be upgradable without tools, like it's a tool-free setup. So yeah, maybe that's what that is, but I don't know. And then up here I'm pretty sure is like one of those anti-theft devices. Oh, here we go. It's an explanation of all the different USB things. So the ones on the front are USB 3.1 Gen 1, and yeah, the Gen 1 USB-C. On the back, the ones up here are USB 2, the ones down here are USB 3, but we've got Gen 1 here and Gen 2, and that's why they're all fancy. Ooh, so I think this is the thing that I'm supposed to pull, and then that unlocks things, and then you can take the side panel off so that you can like play with the components, upgrade things, whatever. They do say toolless, but that's a screw, and I would need a screwdriver to get it unlocked. But that's kind of the same as with my old Dell, my 8-year-old Dell, and if you guys remember, every now and then I have to open it up to jiggle the RAM to get it to work again. So yeah, that's not too bad. One screw, and then I have access to all the different things. I think on the inside there's like a little section that swings out, giving you access to even more of the components because it's kind of a compact design. We're not going to open it just now, but I think, you know, if I do have any problems or if I do want to upgrade it, one screw, that's pretty easy. And then apparently on the inside, yeah, the rest of it is toolless and you can just play around with the stuff. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want to mess anything up, you know, brand new computer. Instead, let's talk about the specs and then I'll go set it up and we can turn it on. Okay, so that was the physical unboxing part of this video. Before we move on to plugging it in, let's talk about the specs. Now, I've made a separate video where I go into like the exact specs of the whole thing. It's a little bit long-winded, so right now I'll just give you the summary. The CPU is an Intel Core i9-9900K, which is like 8-core whatever. I don't know all the exact things off the top of my head. The graphics card is an Nvidia GeForce RTX 2080 Ti, which is like the craziest one I think at the moment. But you know, it'll last me a long time, you hope. It's got a 1 terabyte solid state drive, NVMe whatever, with also a 2 terabyte standard hard drive, so that gives me 3 terabytes altogether, which is the same as my previous computer, so I'll be able to fit a decent amount on it. While also having the fast startup of this solid state drive, which I've never had a solid state drive before, so for me that's like, I get to try one. I think I'm the first person in my family to try one too, so exciting. I know a lot of you guys are like, wow, you've never had a solid state drive? Yeah, no, I haven't bought a computer in 8 years, so and I've never spent this much money on a computer or anything really apart from my Japan trip. Anyway, as for the memory, it's got 64 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM at, I think the speed is 2933 megahertz. And it's like some Hyperfury whatever. I don't really know much about this stuff, but 64 gigabytes of RAM, I think that's the maximum that Dell would allow me to put into it. So yeah, I've only ever had 12 gigabytes of RAM, so that's a massive, this whole thing is a massive upgrade for me, and I hope it'll last me a long time. Now, in case you're from Australia and you're wondering about delivery as well, so after I bought it, they gave me a date range in which it would be delivered, and one of the days I was out working, so I'm like, please don't deliver it on this day. I submitted a request to their support, and the support person was really helpful. They kept track of everything, gave me updates. I was a little bit bewildered by the amount of stuff that they were trying to do. I was just like, just don't deliver it on this day. Instead, they were like, oh, it's coming this day. I've checked this. I've expedited it to try and get it to you as fast as you could. So it came 2 days early. And yeah, it was really good. It came by Star Trek, were the guys who delivered it. And yeah, there was no problems with that. So happy! Anyway, that's enough rambling. So I've cleaned up a space for it. I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to get it set up with my new 27-inch 4K monitor IPS thing. And we'll turn it on, have a look at the fancy lights, and yeah, I think that's probably where we'll stop it because I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of updates before I can really do anything on it, get all my software set up. But we'll do the turning on thing, so let's do that. Ooh, I was just about to move it into my room when I was lifting it, and I noticed like these little feet. It's kind of cool how they've made it a little bit like a rocket ship. I just think that design, it's a nice little design. I'll try and set it up a little for you to see. Yeah. Cool. What do you think, Hopi? Pretty good, huh? Hey, guess what? I actually did use the handle. So I put my hand in like that, and then on this one like that, and that's how I carried it, and it's pretty solid. I think like just holding the handle felt a little bit too weird, but using it as points to hold it is pretty good, because like, you know, there's not, it's kind of flat here, so it's kind of hard to get in and lift it there. I mean, I suppose you could lift it from there, but it felt a bit more secure going there to there. So hey, the handle's not useless, and you know, it actually kind of looks cool. I don't know, very space age. Okay, time to start it up. Woo! Okay, so that freaked me out just a little bit. It first turned on, and then it seemed to turn off, and then it turned on properly. I've never seen a computer do that before. The other thing that freaked me out at first is the screen didn't turn on. Turns out I didn't plug in the DisplayPort cable on the machine, like I didn't plug it in properly. I've never used a DisplayPort cable before though, so yeah, that's my bad. And now we've got the screen for Windows 10 asking me like what country I'm in, and we've got to set that up. So that's the next step. I don't know that you want to watch that though, so I'll go and get that set up, and yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get some software installed and actually get to test it, but I'm not sure how long that's going to take, so please bear with me. As for my other first impressions, so turning it on for the first time, I noticed the sound is really different to my old computer, so obviously from the fans, and I think it's got a liquid cooling system, which I've never had before. Yeah, so I don't know what you guys are actually hearing, but being here in the room with it, it's pretty quiet, just idling as it is. My other computer, my old Dell, when it's idling, I think is a little bit noisier, but the real test is going to be when I actually do some video editing, like, you know, how loud that gets and also how smooth that is. I know with my current Dell, my 8-year-old computer, when it's trying to do a lot of heavy video editing, it gets super loud and the fans just go crazy because it's working right at the edge of its capability. Will be interesting to see how this overpowered beast does with all that. Anyway, so this is what I'm up to now. Obviously getting Windows started, probably going to be a pretty boring process. I haven't plugged the internet in because I want to make a local account. Okay, so we're up to some pretty boring setup stuff. I'm going to stop the video here, maybe we'll come back when I'm actually doing something meaningful. Okay, so we're all set up and logged into Windows 10, and we've got this cute alien kind of thing. I like it. It looks dark and evil. I'm tempted to keep it rather than putting my own one for a change. Usually I would put... Oh my gosh. Usually I would change the picture to something of my own choice, but that's actually nice. I actually really like that. So yeah, that's the first. Now it's busy installing a bunch of stuff, so every now and then it's going to pop up with a little thing and make a noise, but you know, we can have a look around while we're here. So, what it's got here, recycle bin, Microsoft Edge, which, you know, I might just take that shortcut and chuck it straight in there. Sorry about the focus, yeah, no, what am I going to do with Edge? I'm going to download Chrome. Look, it's got a bunch of messages for me. I didn't know it did that. I've never used, like, Windows 10 as my main operating system. I've only used it on other people's computers. So we got a bunch of stuff. We'll look at that later. Over this side, what? Oh, fuck, it's pinned Microsoft Edge. Of course they would, because it's bloody, you know, Microsoft trying to get their stuff there. I'll get rid of that in a moment. Oh, is that an email thing? There's also my Dell support. Here's Cortana. Don't really know what to do with her. Got a bunch of stuff. I don't know what a lot of this does yet. Whole lot of Alienware type things here. And I guess eventually I will figure out all these things. But for now, yeah, I don't know. What's the first thing I'm going to install? Probably Chrome. Anyway, so other things. This is my setup now. Bit hard to see. Everything's black. But that's kind of how I like it, right? Now, with the keyboard and the mouse, the free keyboard and mouse that came in, I've been using this. It's really nice. And then also the mouse, new mouse. What I really like about this is that scroll bar. Oh, I really love that, the feel of that. And that's not bad for a free mouse, you know? Pretty similar, I think, to the old one. But, oh, there's less of a cavity in there. So the other one, dog hair keeps getting stuck. So if you look at the old mouse, you know, it's a bit deeper, and yeah, it's super annoying. Yeah, I think that came for free with the old Dell as well, although now that I look at it, it's Logitech. Did they give me a Logitech keyboard as well? I don't know. Did I ever replace that at any point? I don't remember doing that. Anyway, this mouse, I like it. It's good, really smooth. And then the keyboard's been really nice to type on. Like, they're different keys to what I'm used to. I'll just grab out the... Oh, where is it? The other one here. So, like, you can sort of see how these keys are like that, whereas these keys are more like that, and they're actually really nice to type on. Now, one of the things with this setup, hang on, let me put this keyboard down. One of the things with this setup, right, so compared to my old wooden desk, which is just hanging out over there, it's a little bit less stable. So when I'm, like, doing stuff, things move around. You know, this is very solid. It doesn't move around so easily. I mean, it does if you try, but when you're just typing, I'm a heavy typer, so when I'm typing on this, it's fine. When I'm typing on this, with the older keyboard at least, everything kind of moves. With this one, because the keys are so much smoother, it is kind of influencing me to type a little bit less crazy. I don't know how long that'll last, because when I really get into something, maybe I will go rah, 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 rah. But so far, it's been alright. I'm probably going to have to get a pad to put my keyboards on, though, because, yeah, I am a heavy typer, so that's the thing. Anyway, in terms of, yeah, down here you can see the Alien there, the old Dell there. It's in standby mode at the moment because, you know, I just turned it off so that I'd be able to hear what this one was like without getting, like, confused with that one. Anyway, so this is my setup now. Chuck the printer up there. That's my graphics tablet. And then there's my keyboard. I'm thinking of getting rid of the printer. I might change it for a scanner or something. Oh, and there's my microphone. Yeah, anyway, so I'm gonna start doing things and at some point get to some video editing. Okay, review time. So I've had this computer for about 5 months now. Sorry it's taken me so long to get this video out. 2020 was being a bitch even before COVID. Sorry, I'm also mostly gonna be reading a script. I just wanna get this done and cover everything and not have to refilm because it's already taking me forever to finish. Now this section is a refilm because so much time has passed. I just feel like my original reactions are really out of date. Like I know what this computer's like now, so let's not waste time with me speculating. If you do want my day one reactions to everything though, I posted all that footage over on Patreon. I'll put a link up in the corner and down below as well. And if you want to support me, you can check that out. Right now though, I'll probably cover a lot of the same ground, but with a much more updated perspective. So first thing, speed. Obviously I was always going to be impressed given my previous computer was 8 years old, but yeah, I'm really happy. It starts up really fast and also updates quickly with no issues. You guys were right, SSDs are awesome and I'm now super impatient anytime the family asks me to fix their painfully slow computers. It's been a weird adjustment. I used to turn on the old Dell first thing in the morning, then go pee and make some tea while it was starting up and logging in. Now with the Alien, I don't feel pressure to turn it on until I actually want to use it. Like when I turn it on, I barely have time to sit down, turn on the screen and get settled before the login screen appears. And then when you do log in, everything just works. There's no waiting for it to finish. There's no waiting for it to finish thinking like used to happen on the old computer. It's made a huge difference. Turning it off is a bit of a weirder experience because the speed that it shuts down kind of conflicts with the way my screen works. For some reason, if the screen loses signal, it automatically searches for another input, and until it finally gives up, you can't actually turn it off and move on with your life. That wasn't a problem with the old computer because being slow, you got plenty of time to turn off the screen while it's still stuffing around. With the Alien though, if you aren't paying attention, it shuts down so fast that the screen will go into that input searching mode, and it's super annoying when you just want to go to bed already. So now to avoid this, I actually hover my finger over the screen's power button, get my mouse positioned to shut down the Alien, then hold down the screen's power button because it takes a while, press shut down and hope the screen turns off before the Alien stops sending images. Most of the time I get it right, but not always, and it can be kind of frustrating in this amusing paradoxical way. Now, as for actually doing things on this computer, I guess the main thing that's relevant for me is video editing, and it's really made a huge difference. So far, I've stuck to HitFilm Express out of laziness, but this computer does work so much better with it, both during editing and rendering. I no longer have to wait ages between each cut I make, and as for render time, that's actually been improving as HitFilm has been updated to make better use of my hardware. On the old computer, sometimes it would take twice the length of the video to render and be super noisy. On the Alien though, it's always been very quiet, and originally it rendered in real time, but after one particular update, a HitFilm update, it's actually now rendering in half the length of the video, which saves so much time. And this is still the free version, so I'm thrilled. And oh my god, the light is a little bit hot, isn't it? Stay on topic, stay on topic. Other things about running HitFilm on this machine. So since I was finally able to get the latest versions, I noticed they added this little preview window of the video as it's rendering. It's not really necessary, but it's pretty cute, and until it started rendering faster than real time, it kind of felt like a visual version of bouncing in Pro Tools. Thankfully silent, but yeah, interesting to watch, and definitely not something I think my old computer could have coped with. Also, HitFilm loads really fast on this computer. On the old one, you double click it and then have to wait ages, go do something else for a bit until it finally loaded up. But here, it opens almost straight away. You can also multitask with no issues, like I can finally open Photoshop if I need to without having to close HitFilm first to make sure things work properly. And I'm also no longer worried about things like browsing on Chrome while I'm waiting for things to render now. Like, I know my machine has all this extra capacity, so yeah, I'm not really going to slow it down while I'm doing other things. And last cool thing is more to do with the fact that I'm running a 4K monitor. Of course, my old computer wasn't capable of 4K picture, so that's a thing. But yeah, I think it's kind of fun that now I can edit with my preview window actually being in full 1080p HD, and it all fits on the screen and runs very smoothly. You can tell the machine's having no problems at all with that. As for DaVinci Resolve, some of you remember I partly chose this computer with the requirements for that program in mind, but I actually haven't gotten around to trying it yet. Again, it's a bit of laziness, but I also just haven't had the time to learn a whole new bit of software with the way 2020 decided to mess everything up even before the whole pandemic thing really hit. And to be honest, I'm now kind of doubting whether it's worth making the switch or if I should just go for the Pro version of HitFilm instead to unlock the last few features that I'd really like to have. But I have heard that the Pro version of Resolve is supposed to really make better use of my hardware. So yeah, I'm still curious, and at some point I should probably just give at least the free version a go. At the moment, I can tell the computer isn't using the full power of the graphics card because it never gets very noisy, when I know it can run harder based on trying things like folding at home and opening up monitoring panels to see how much of its capacity it's using. Side note, I didn't like the whole folding at home thing. Even on a medium setting, all my fans went off and it kind of freaked me out, and at the same time it was telling me there was nothing for it to work on, so like, why stress my hardware out for nothing? Especially since I want this computer to last me a good long time, so yeah, I uninstalled that pretty quickly. Speaking of noisy fans though, my old computer was so bad. Like, of course, while rendering, it'd go absolutely nuts, but even idling, it'd actually be about the same volume as the Alien doing rendering. So Dell idling, same volume as Alien rendering. Yeah, so obviously I was pushing that old computer right to its limits, and I wonder if the hardware stress of all that was why it started having more and more issues before I stopped using it. There were a few incidents, including blue screens, and one where I heard something switch off just before the screen froze. I assume it was the graphics card shutting off. So yeah, I feel like if I hadn't upgraded when I did, I just would have got to a point where the old computer would have had some kind of meltdown and be a real pain in the butt to fix enough to make a smooth transition to the new machine. Which brings us to the experience of making that transition. In all honesty, it took a while for me to transfer everything across. I just started with the things I needed most for my Punk Rave Australia videos, but over time I did finally stop using the old Dell and am now full-time Alien. I only boot up the old Dell on the rare occasion I need something that I forgot to transfer, which hasn't happened for a while, so yeah, it kind of just sits there now. It's also not connected to the internet anymore. I cut it off back when Microsoft ended its support for Windows 7 just for security reasons. But yeah, so making the transition, one thing that really helped me break through my laziness was just seeing how much faster the USB ports on the new Alien are. Like, I didn't expect that to be something I'd really notice because my external hard drive hasn't changed, but yeah, I don't know. I think the old Dell probably only had USB 2, whereas this one has USB 3, so even transferring data to its standard hard drive rather than the SSD, I really noticed this huge leap in speed. Getting the data from the old computer onto the external drive took ages, but then getting it onto the new computer after that, I was just kind of watching it like, wow, amazing. Now on the software side of things, setting up Windows 10 was fairly easy. I think I found all the important things I need to know about, but if you've got any extra tips, feel free to leave them in the comments below. It did take some getting used to, but I like things like the built-in mail app, and the Alienware command center is kind of fun for mucking with the computer's lights and so on. There's a lot of things I still haven't looked at though. I really just focused on getting my old programs across, and yeah, I still haven't really explored. One thing I did notice though is that a lot of things on this machine are set up to default to dark mode, and I guess that makes sense given the moody black Alienware desktop and the whole vibe they're going for. I guess gamers really like dark mode. But yeah, I actually hadn't used it that much before, so this machine has kind of half converted me to the dark side, and that's been an interesting experience. Things that don't work so well on this machine, the biggest one for me has been Photoshop. I have an old CS6 version because I refuse to pay for their cloud subscriptions. but it looks like it really wasn't designed for Windows 10 or 4K monitors. Not sure which one's the problem, maybe both. It took a while to get it sorted so that I didn't need a bloody microscope to see the toolbars, but it still has a few graphical glitches, which is annoying, especially with things not quite lining up right. I haven't been using Photoshop much lately though, so it's not too big a deal, but the moment a free hit film style equivalent becomes a viable alternative, I'll switch because fuck Adobe's subscription only nonsense. Also, because the new keyboard has a function key in the position I'm not used to, it took me a while to stop pressing the Windows key when I actually wanted the Alt key, and since I do use that a bit in Photoshop, that was super confusing for a while there. Other things that are a bit weird, sometimes when using a particular work from home software, the mouse cursor disappears for a bit. Not a big deal, but can be kind of confusing, don't know what's causing it. Also, sometimes Chrome freezes up everything for a few moments and I don't know why. A big thing I hate is what Microsoft have done to Windows Media Player for Windows 10, like they actually got rid of its ability to play DVDs and things. Why would you do that? I mean, my Alien did come with a Power Media Player to take over that function, but I liked the way Windows Media Player used to work. What was the point in getting rid of that feature? Speaking of, the Blu-ray drive on this machine is actually a bit noisy compared to the old Dell, and it seems to be like a space-saving kind of design, so it doesn't open or close automatically like I'm used to. Not a big deal, and you don't really notice the sound while you're watching, but yeah, it's not the greatest optical drive I've ever had. And oh yeah, fuck Microsoft for putting ads in all the classic games. I got sick of that really fast, so since I have to see ads anyway, I actually stopped my old habit of playing Spider Solitaire while watching YouTube, and instead switched to Neopets, which has been really kind of bad for my productivity with my brain being so easily distracted with the whole lockdown thing and everyone being at home and my whole routine being out of whack. I've made so many Neo points in the past few months. What am I even doing? I'm trying to wean myself off now, like, by only playing it after 5 p.m. when Neopets Land gets its midnight and all the daily tasks reset. But yeah, I'm a fucking mess. Anyway, some miscellaneous things. So one thing with the screen, I actually notice a bit of mild burn-in sometimes. The screen's not Alienware or anything, you can see my video about that. But yeah, no, I notice a bit of mild burn-in, sometimes mainly from icons on the desktop or like the Facebook search bar if I leave them sitting too long. They go away pretty easily, but I probably need to get a screensaver going to save me a bit of trouble. I just kind of forgot they exist because I never used one on the old computer back when I had that smaller screen. It didn't get burn-in. And then yeah, the keyboard, right? So I mentioned being a heavy typer in the earlier part of this video, but yeah, I do seem to have chilled out with my typing since then. I notice I'm not shaking the whole desk when I'm going on a rant and Facebook, so I guess keyboard design really is more important than I realized. Whew, so I think that covers everything. Again, I'm sorry to be reading off a script, but you guys know how I tend to get sidetracked and I really just wanted this video done. One of the reasons for that is because I still haven't downloaded that 3-month Xbox freebie thing and I'm sort of getting close to the deadline to do that. At least I hope I haven't missed it. But yeah, so I thought I'd get this video out of the way and then maybe give it a go. That might give my computer more of a workout just playing random games, and maybe I'll do a little series of me trying and failing at whatever they have on it. I think it's called Xbox Game Pass, and I'm not a gamer, so I don't know shit, but hey, it's free, and we might as well have a laugh at my expense. I am still going to do the Free Space 2 videos, but since the Xbox thing has a time limit, I figure I should start with that first. Anyway, let me know what you think. Other plans though, since I'm so out of the habit of posting videos right now, I'm thinking I might just put up some quick vocal clip videos now and then. If you follow me on Facebook, you might have seen them. They're mostly random Snapchat things with me trying new sounds, and then there's one mini tutorial, so since they're already public, I might as well post them here too. They are pretty dodgy though, so please bear with me if they're not your kind of thing. I just realized I need to get back into the habit of posting to YouTube, so if smaller clips are the way to get there, fuck what you guys want. I'm gonna do what I find fun, especially because they don't really take any effort. So that's it for now, guys. Sorry it's taken so long. I think I haven't even live streamed in like a month or so, so yeah, here's me trying to get back into it. Take care of yourselves, and I guess I'll see you again soon. Maybe. How's the picture? I just shoved my old desk lamp up here, and yeah, it's not great. I need to get like some kind of proper lighting, but there's too much to do. Anyway.